My name is Linh and my co-host is
Edward Thomas
the third.
the third.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Edward, today we're going to pick your brain.
Pick my brain, and you're not
It
going
may
to get
be
much.
small, but it has so much to give.
I have 4 cells left, so you better get them now before they die.
So Ed, you
Yes.
are not only a priest in the Church of Sweden,
Nope, not only that.
but you also
I'm
have...
also a man.
Well, that's good to know. I always wanted that confirmation because I couldn't tell.
I know. I actually consider myself to be a man, too. So, just to be clear about my gender.
And you want to be called as your pronouns are his, him?
No, you have to pronoun me she. Because
that's difficult.
because I just want to be confusing.
Okay.
Now you call me him and he.
He and him. That's your
Yes,
pronouns.
That's my pronouns.
Okay. You not only bury a lot of people
Nope.
and
I do that
baptize
too.
them,
Yep, do that too.
you also marry them
Yep, do
for
that too.
no reason.
Exactly. I just see 2 people on the street and I walk up. I'm like, I pronounce you husband and wife. They're like, we're brother and sister. I don't care.
It's like, don't tell me.
I'm like, I don't want to know your personal business, what you do at home,
So today we want to hear about the special edition of marriage.
Yes.
Are we
Yes.
talking about marriage or pre-marriage counseling or both?
I like to talk more about pre-marriage because, marriage, once you're there,
You screwed.
you're just like you're stuck. So I like to help people to make wise decisions ahead of time, but they never listen to me. So I don't know.
But we want to hear the crazy, the mistakes you see. And you said, sometime I ask you, like, how was your quota? Like, of the couples you
Yeah,
you
actually,
married?
most people that I've married, especially the ones that I've actually counseled, they're actually still married. The people who've taken no counseling, it's about 50-50.
But you always suggest it to them, though, is it?
No, not really.
No?
If they're believers, I'll suggest it. But most people, like in Sweden, because most people get married after they've been living together for like 5 or 6 years, usually after the 3rd kid.
After third
Yeah,
kid.
so it's either after
I have
the
to
2nd
get
or 3rd
married now
kid.
to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be married to Eunice anymore because now you're gonna have 3 kids. You need to find someone new. But that's like the really weird thing, and that's really different in the States. I feel, at least, is that in Sweden, is that most people first you meet someone, and then really shortly after meeting them, you move in. I'm like, how do you know they're not a mass murderer?
Most of the time, it's just convenient, No,
No, it's not.
for the people, it's convenient.
If I have my own place and you have your own place, it's not convenient for me for you to move in.
Yeah, but then we can share the rent and then...
And invade my privacy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now I can't walk around my underwear inside the house all the time just because I feel like it.
Of course you can. You're
Not
a
if your
couple
mom's
now.
coming over.
Why would you bring your mom all the time? That's another issue.
I don't.
I'm like,
You never know.
dude. Okay, so what is premarital counseling? If you tell our
So
listeners who don't know.
premarital counseling is something that I offer to people. Is like, you're going to get married, and most couples feel like, oh, but we've talked everything out. We know everything. I'm like, really?
For real?
Let's test that. And so it's just a way of helping couples to assess their preparedness for being married. So it's not really about should you marry or should you not. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't know this about you. Not sure if I want to be married to someone like that, But most of the time it's just to help couples to make sure that they've really...
They know what they're buying.
Yeah. Like they walk into marriage with their eyes open. And, like we have this saying in Sweden, don't buy the pig in the sack, which I think is really weird. But it's just, you want to know what you should know what you're getting, and you should be okay with that. So you want to make an informed and wise decision. So,
Okay, now give us the juice.
so the juice is, well, first you squeeze their pimples. Okay. No, but it's, so usually what I do is I will usually ask the couple, like, so talk about yourselves. And this is a hard thing in Sweden. People just, they don't know how to talk about themselves. So they usually
They
sit there
don't
and
want
like,
to talk about themselves.
yeah, that's really difficult. I'm like, just tell me what you're like. Just
I don't know.
Like normal. Just like everyone else. I'm like, oh my God, can you stop? Tell me
is no
what you're really
normal.
like. just like everyone else. I just want to blend in. I just want to be like every other. I'm a dead fish. So that's one of the things that get people just to talk about themselves, talk about their dreams, where do they want to end up, and are you really where you want to be at in life right now? And just to sort of get the ball talking, we talk about their growing up, because not everyone is interested in how the person grew up. So I talk about the relationship to their parents.
You mean the couple?
The couple.
They are not interested in how they grew up?
Yeah. So a lot of people get married
really weird.
knowing nothing about how the person grew up.
What?
So they don't know about the relationship to their parents, to their siblings. They don't know what difficulties they had in their family. They don't know about the pink elephants in the room that the family never talked about. And those are things that are really important, because you want to know if your partner has certain things that, because in their family they can talk about them. You want to know what those things are, because you need to get them to talk about it. And if there's certain triggers that trigger certain responses,
you
want to know about that. And then you want to know, and especially like if you're going to get married to someone and you live in the same country with their parents, you want to have a relationship with your in-laws before you get married, because they're going to be a part of your life, whether you want them to be. Well,
once or twice a year at least, you'll see each other.
Well, I mean, I have a friend, and her parents didn't approve of her getting married to the person she got married to, and it's caused a big separation between her and her parents. But her parents still are affecting her life. Even though they have nothing to do with her life now, they're still affecting her life.
Yeah,
because
of course.
they're still her parents, and she wants them. She just wants them to come. She just wants them to come around and say, "Okay, listen, hey, maybe we were wrong." I mean, because now they've been married for several years, so maybe like the parents say, "Hey, we were wrong. We were a little hard. We just thought you guys were really young. We wanted the best for you." But her parents, won't come around. They won't do that.
They are too proud.
They're so. I mean, I remember I met them at the wedding, and the mom said, because I called them and said, "I really think it's important. I mean, she's going to get married once in life. Please just come. Even if you don't approve of it, just come." And I remember when I saw them when they came in, the mom said, "Oh, thanks for reaching out to us and stuff." And I shook her hand. And I shook the dad's hand. And if looks could kill, wow, he would have hanged me, chopped me up, beat me with a baseball bat, and then burnt me up.
Because he really did not approve.
He did not approve that I was okay with them getting married.
Yeah.
Because I was okay.
Otherwise you wouldn't marry them.
I wouldn't have married them. No, definitely. And so that was but that strained relationship still affects their relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's hard for them to talk, for the couple, it's hard for them to talk about it. And they really did really mean things to the guy. And so, he's got hurt and that he has to deal with. And so it's really complicated. So that you really, if you can.
Yeah.
But sometimes parents don't make it that easy.
Nope.
For their child's partner to really feel like you're part of the family. So it's really, really difficult. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is that family, not
dynamics,
just the two couples, really. And because people here in Sweden are so individualistic, they think, well, I don't need my family. I don't need their family. We could just do it on our own.
Yeah.
But no one can.
No one ever talk to them.
Yeah. It's a stupid thing. No couple who has been long-term, who has been happily married 40, 50, 60, 70 years, has been able to do it without their village. And the village includes your parents, your in-laws, that close-knit family and friends. And it's hard to have a successful marriage without a village. It doesn't. You need support. You cannot do it on your own. If you think that, you are so dumb, because that's just the stupidest thought. It's like, here are things that we know through research, over 30, 40 years of research. We know certain things that don't work. That does not work. A couple that's just the two of them, it's just us. And they kill all the relationships around them, and they don't have any contact with their own their primary family or their in-law family. They're done for. They're done for, because sorry, ladies and men. There is no one person that completes you. That's a stupid thing. That's a movie. That's not reality.
There's no soulmate like that.
Yeah, when people are looking at that movie and Tom Hanks says, "You complete me," and all the girls in the movie theater say, I'm like, no. And I just want to stand up in the movie and say, "He's lying. This is a lie. Please don't believe it. Don't be stupid." So that's like, and I make a big deal about that because that's such an important dynamic in a lot of relationships. And then the other thing, you know, I like to talk about money. And so I'm not afraid to talk about like how much debt you got. like, do you have debt?
But it's so
Yes,
weird
do you have debt?
It was so weird that people wouldn't talk about that before.
Because you have my money, your money. We're not married, so you know, and people.
But it's a trust thing.
Yeah, but if you come from a family where you haven't really talked about money in your family, you've learned not to talk about money, so you don't talk about it.
Like ever?
Yeah, I mean, there's families that never ever talk about money, which means that the kids never learned about how to handle money. It means that they don't know how to discuss. Like, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. You could always end up in debt. You can end up, you know, just not paying attention and paying your bills on time and things like that. And that's why if you can talk to your partner, I mean, two people working on something together is always going to be better than one person working on it. And so that's one of the things that we have to...
Except in group work.
I know. Except when you study at college in Sweden and you have
then
group assignments. And like, no, please, please don't do that. You know, I always get stuck with people who do not want to work.
I was stuck with a group that wanted to everything together, like basically holding hands, going to the toilet together.
No, I have to slap somebody.
That was in the 5th term, but now I'm in the 7th term, so called. And those people are much more chill, and they know like how to do group work. And I'm like so happy. I'm like, okay, everyone. It's not about intelligence. It's just about like human skill.
No, it's good. It's good. I think like when people. Like we divide all the work up, everyone actually does their part, and then put it together. That's great. But that's how it's supposed to do. Hardly ever happens though, because there's always a slacker, there's always a dummy, there's always someone in there. You're like, how did you get this far in your studies? You know nothing, absolutely nothing.
And you don't even know that you don't know nothing.
Like you're like so dumb. You don't know how dumb you are. So, and they're like, why do I have to be in my group?
Well, I think every group has someone like that.
Yeah, and
except in mine now.
And there's always like the slacker who's always like, they don't do anything. They just want to glide along and take credit for what they didn't do. I'm like, ugh.
Okay, but I want to hear juicy stories about premarital counseling. Tell me about the dum-dums.
Okay. So the dumbest people come to me and they're like, you know what? We've been together for like 3 or 4 months and everything's so perfect and we love each other so much. We want you to marry us. I'm like, no. they start crying and they get like all upset with me and I'm like, nope, can't do it. They're like, why? I'm like, you're still like the honeymoon phase. Like, how long have you known each other? 4 months? No, like, were you friends before? No. Whew. There is no basis. And I know some people out there, but you know, I met my person and I knew that I was like in love at first sight and we've been together all the time. Yeah, okay. I'm sure that if I were to ask, there's always an exception. People are weird, so there's always an exception. There's always some weird couple that gets together and they can stay together.
Exceptions confirm the rules.
But the majority? Nah, not even. It's not even close. Good. No. And I really try to emphasize that I really think it's really important for people to get to know each other. So I remember once I was going to marry this couple, and I came really close to saying no.
How?
Because I called the couple, and the girl, she said, okay, well, just talk to my guy, talk to my fiance, and I was like, okay. And he did all the talking, which is really weird. She said nothing.
During the counseling?
Nothing.
Oh.
It was like, he's like, this is the way it's going to be. This is the music you want. I'm like, what's going on here? Because she said nothing. And then nobody else was going to come there except for his mother. And I'm like.
For the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
But that's really strange.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, warning flags. My head was going like, woo, 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 woo. But he was so scary and intimidating. Yeah. I didn't want to say anything.
Oh my gosh, you were like the girl.
Beat me.
You're like the girl.
I know. I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Please, just don't beat me. I'm sure you're really nice to me someday. I was like, what is wrong with me? This guy was so intimidating. He was so scary. I was like, I just want him to get out of my office. I'll marry you just to get you out of my life. You know, I'm like, woo.
Okay, how did it turn out?
I don't know. I married them, and no one was there. We were at the church, and it was just the organist. It was the custodian. It was myself, his mother, him and her.
But it's really strange.
He didn't even want his kids at the wedding.
Was it like a secret thing, or
no? I don't know. What's going on?
Shouldn't you take responsibility? What was going on there?
I was a really new priest.
And you were young.
I was really young. I was like 45.
But you were a young priest.
Yeah. So
you're unexperienced.
So I was like, and I was like really, and after that, I was like, okay, you know what? If that ever happens again, I'm just gonna say no. I can't.
No, too little.
If she doesn't say anything, I'm not gonna marry you guys. I need to know. I'm sorry, but it has to be, because I think it's really important to make sure that it's mutual. You want to do this, he wants to do it, she wants to do it, somebody wants to do it, so. And I've always felt really uneasy about that. And if I could go back in time, I would not have married them.
No,
because I just felt
it sounds really weird.
Yeah, it was just too much warning flags for me. So that, and then I remember once a couple came in, and they're like, "Can't you do something Egyptian?"
Egyptian.
I'm like, "We're in a church. What do you mean like Egyptian?
Like a Coptic church?
You mean like Anubis and Isis?" Yeah, we're really into stuff like that. I'm like, "No, we only talk about God." And they were like so sad because they were really nice. They were a really nice couple, and they were really positive and really, but they really want the Egyptian thing. I'm
like, the theme. It was the theme.
I'm like, no, I can't. No, that was just too weird.
Your wedding was super weird. Why didn't you marry them?
I know.
It's super weird one.
Because I made that mistake. Okay. No, but it was really... And I have two friends. I can't say their names now, but now they're divorced.
Yeah.
And that was one couple, I think, that if I had known their real situation... So I hate it when people lie to me.
They lied
I'd rather for them... Because I had asked... Because I felt like...
something was going on.
Yeah, I'm like... And they were getting married, and it turned out that she had hit him and he had hit her. So there was violence before. Mm-hmm. And I don't... If a couple has had a physical fight or something with each other, within 6 months, 4 to 6 months, I don't want to marry them.
No,
because I want them to make sure they have counseling first. I don't want to be the person who helps to bind people together when there's like violence and there's stuff that needs to be worked through. I'll work it out first, and so they lied to me.
They said no, nothing.
They said no, everything's like fine. I'm like, you sure? You sure you want to do this? Oh yeah, okay, all right. And then after they had been married like a couple of months, he hit her. and her family was like her dad was out for blood. Like
I can understand
I actually thought her dad was going to kill him. That's
I
how,
can understand that.
That's how serious it was and stuff like that. And then as they were talking to me, we're like talking about things and everything. We were like talking in this open form, so it wasn't like just private talking. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out they didn't tell me that there was violence before they got married. And I said, I did ask you. Yeah, I'm saying, so you lied to me? Yeah, we lied to you.
Because you really wanted to get married.
And then I'm like, so you used me?
Yeah, they did.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun.
And of course, years later, it didn't work out. Because I think when you start off so if you have a bad foundation, it's really hard. Once you build a house on a bad foundation, it's really hard to fix that. It really is. And if you're gonna, and what I wish would happen is that more people would say, okay, listen, let's have premarital counseling.
Just do a checkup.
Just go through some stuff with us. Just help us to get to, talking openly about things.
Maybe things they haven't thought about.
Exactly.
Maybe they thought they have talked about everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's always. I've got like 100. I think it's like 125 questions.
Yeah, I did that with you.
Yeah, you did that with me. Yeah.
That was crazy because we did it like 5 days into we met.
Yeah, no.
So people were like, okay, that's a bit intense.
Yeah, it was.
Like, get it checked out.
But when you do those kind of questions and everything like that, it's just a tool to make sure that you've talked through things and you know
what the other
person's carrying and what you're carrying and if it's compatible and so it's those are some of the crazy things. Also at that wedding with the people who had lied to me, the The guy shows up 45 minutes late to the wedding.
How?
45 minutes late.
How?
And so because the church musicians are paid for, and so the guy, the organist, was really angry at me.
Yeah,
he's like,
'cause
you just
it's late.
cancel it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but he's on his way. He forgot the rings. He had to go all the way back home to get the rings.
That was a bad sign. Bad
Yeah, it was a
sign
bad
right
sign.
there.
Yeah. So it's but so baptisms are weird. But most weddings, at least here in Sweden, when people are not believers but they want to get married in church, so they'll say things like, "Do you have to talk about God?" I'm like in Sweden, so we have a civil marriage ceremony where you don't have anything to do with God. You can do whatever you want.
You can do the Egyptian thing.
And yeah, there you right. You could dress up as Anubis and Isis and Horus and get your freak on, whatever. But in the Church of Sweden, we have it's God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit.
Church.
It's a church. That's when people get married in church. Some of them are so surprised that we talk about God.
What did they think it was just a location? Like it's a building?
I don't know. They're thinking like, we have this priest and we're going to be in the church and we're going to talk about the devil. Okay. No, but some people have asked me do I have to mention God?
Yeah,
do I have to
yes.
pray? Can you hop over the blessing? I'm like, no. We want God to do something good for you, okay? Are you really what do you want? What do you want me to say? God, please punish them and send them to everlasting punishment, fire and brimstone. I mean, what do you want?
It's not a bad thing to get a blessing.
No.
Even if you don't believe in it, it's still a good thing.
Like, do I have to have that? We might explode. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I think that
are there any stupid questions they ask during premarital counseling except for the God thing?
it's usually about God. That's the only ones that come up. No, but I think that I think most people really haven't explored. Like, I think a lot of people, I don't know what's wrong with the world, but people think that like the whole thing with family, they haven't really explored that. And I always tell people so when people come in and they're from two different cultures, I'm always I'm listening and I'm checking to make sure, are you aware that you don't come from the same culture?
You have the same reference point.
It's gonna be harder than if you came from the same culture. Like, cross-cultural marriages are harder. Cross-cultural church is hard. Cross-cultural anything is hard. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. It's not impossible, but it takes more work.
No kidding.
I know. People are like, oh no, that can't be true. Love conquers everything. Nope.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it does if you work hard for it.
Yeah, exactly. Love with no work, that's failure. Okay, you will not
That's
succeed.
blind.
It does not work. Okay, you have to work at it. No, but I think that sometimes I'm always amazed by how like people think. So one of the things. Okay, let's say after things. So we have a lot of people who are conservative Christians who've never had sex before marriage. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how could we teach people about sex without it being pornographic?
Listen to our podcast. We have Let's Talk About Sex. 3 episodes there.
We need more. We probably should like a whole year.
Okay, what more is there to explore?
Oh my God.
Without being pornographic, I mean.
Okay, sorry. I guess if we had dolls, we should film it and say, here's a doll. What foreplay looks like. Because, okay, guys, listen. You don't have to go to pornography, but you
have to have an understanding.
You need to be passionate. Explore. Get to know your partner. Please. Do not think it's like bam, bam, bam.
It's like put it in.
Yeah. Put it in. Done. Okay. That was my 30 seconds. I'm done. Why aren't you done? And I was like, are you stupid?
Did you enjoy it?
So one of the problems is that a lot of people who haven't had sex before marriage, no contact with pornography, they really don't know.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. And I'm really happy. Pornography is like a really bad thing. But they're
expectations.
They have bad sex. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
But do you know? How do you know on premarital counseling, or do they come in after?
They talk about it later. So sometimes people will call, or their friend will call.
Their friend?
Because they've talked to their friend. Their friend calls me. Do you think that you can call them up? I'm like, can't do that.
No, that's weird. You shouldn't even telling me.
It's just like, hey, we forgot to talk about this, but I want to talk to you about sex. Are you having a good sex life? the priest called me to ask me. I mean, doesn't that just sound wrong?
Just weird. Like
It's just like, ding, 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 ding. So I think that,
that's weird.
but that's a big problem. So it's a big problem for, in a lot of conservative Christian circles, that people aren't having a good sex life.
But that's really taboo.
I do not advocate and do not believe that you have to have sex before marriage. But you do have to have a healthy view of sex. And I think because we talk about it so little, and we're not really preparing people to understand that one of God's gifts to marriage is a great sex life. Like, I think that God wants us to have really good sex and have it often. But it takes both couples. Like, sex is like a good sex life is something both couples have to work at.
Both partners in a couple.
And you can't. Oh, sorry.
I don't want to have several couples because that just sounds wrong. I'm like,
we're not advocating swingers.
No,
we're not like partner switching. None of that weird stuff. No, sorry. The two people, the couple.
The partners,
Thank
two
you,
couple
Lynn.
Partners in
in
one couple.
I'm embarrassed. Like, my face is like a tomato. Okay, wow. I mean, you can't really see
Yeah,
it.
I'm like, you're pretty brown, so the red is just blending in.
You're like, whoa.
The shade didn't really change.
No, but it's but that's something I wish I could develop a system that doesn't seem invasive and doesn't seem pushy, but where we could lift up more the subject. Say, hey, you're getting married. Have you guys talked about like how are you going to explore your sex life together, and how you're going to build that, and how you're going to make that sex life really good?
Oh, that's really hard.
Because especially people who have never experienced it. So
it's hard to imagine that.
But I think there's things like start off, like, my advice would be like, start off taking a bath together. Like, don't even think, okay, we got married tonight, we got to get it in, we got to have sex, and you're like all stressed out.
So bad.
Which is really, like, stressing women up is really not the best way for them to have sex.
No.
Guys, we're like dogs. Okay, we don't care. We're like stress, no stress, relax, happy, sad, just give it to me. And so I think that it would be really good to give like that kind of tool. I'll say, listen, just take a shower together, clean each other. They'd be like, what?
That's nice.
But listen, you're married now. It's okay.
Yeah. They have to get over this thought of taboo.
Right.
No, don't
what
touch.
Happens is because it's been taboo, some people can't make that adjustment. They don't understand. Now you can open up the present.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas.
They're like, no, Christmas has been there for a year.
Exactly. Now, finally. No. But that's one of the areas that I feel like I want to find a way to, like to teach couples like the gift of massage. Massaging is really.
Please tell Jonas to massage my back.
That's like Annette. She's always like, I'm like, you're only with me because I massage you all the time. She's like, yeah, no. She was like, and you make food. You make me food and you massage me. I'm like, wow, that's really.
Hey, they're really good reasons.
That's really bad.
That's really good reasons.
I want her because she thinks like, you're like my Adonis. You're like a god to me. Ooh. See, she never says stuff like that. That would really rock my world. Come home, she's like, Ed, you're like Zeus. I just want to give you worship.
That's a black lady talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm married to this white lady, so I guess she'll be like.
And that is not a black lady captured in a white woman's body.
No, not at all. No, my wife is 100% white. She's like all white. There's like no black in her. She's like, huh? Okay. How'd I do that? And I love her. I'm not saying I don't like white women. Obviously, I married one. So
Dude,
I'm not saying I hate black women. Obviously, my mom is one. Okay, so I'm done. Okay, don't write to me about that.
He like women. It doesn't matter what shape or size they come, color.
Exactly.
He like women.
It's like cookies. I like cookies. I like women. I like all kinds of cookies. I like all kinds of women. So
Except the nutty ones.
Yeah. Nah, I've had some of those too.
Okay, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
You're telling people
they
should do premarital counseling.
If you have the opportunity, like whenever you're out there and you get a chance to talk to someone who's going to marry you, if you're going to talk to someone in church, ask the priest if he would do premarital counseling with you. Like you can't lose anything. It's not like, oh wow, if we do this, we might find out that we're incompatible. Great, find out, or oh no, I may end up talking about something that I don't want to talk about. Well, then you shouldn't get married, okay? If you're not willing to be
eventually
open, it's like,
you will have to talk about
it will
things.
come out, Yes, I'm a vampire at night. So, she'll figure it out, or he'll figure it out, No, but I think that premarital counseling is something that's really good. I think that it could, and a good premarital counselor will make you feel comfortable. They're not trying to shame you. They're not trying to tell you what to do. All they're doing is lifting up things for the two of you guys to discuss and talk about. And that's my biggest job, is to get the couple to talk about things and try to help them to
give them tools
to solve, if there's a conflict, to solve the conflict, because that's a tool of marriage. A good couple can solve conflicts. They're not afraid of conflicts. Conflicts are normal. It's normal to fight. Oh gosh, the whole thing. Oh my gosh, we have to do another podcast about the stupidness about what is this thing? No, we're never gonna fight. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get a divorce.
But then they never had like friendships or relationships to your parents. Like, what do you mean you never fight?
Like, do you have a brother or sister? It's like, so all you do is fight. No, but I think that's and to teach people like you could be really loving and still not get along and like there's good ways to fight. Like there's a great system that teaches you a good way to fight where you're not like making personal accusations. You're not saying, you're just stupid. No, that's not a good way to fight. You don't want to do that. You want to talk about how I feel like this when you do this, or when you say this, it makes me feel.
You
like
made us
this.
do this. It was really annoying.
But you hated the mirroring thing too.
Yeah,
when you have to repeat back what the person said.
Yeah,
I know.
It's so annoying.
You're like this is so stupid. I'm like, oh my gosh, Lynn, you have no patience.
No, I don't.
But it is. But you can't escalate a fight that way.
No, because it's so taking so much time, and by the time you have to repeat what the other says, you have already forgotten what you wanted to say anyway, and then it just fizzles out.
Yeah, so it's really great.
De-escalating immediately.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's what Putin and
exactly.
Ukraine, they should do that.
Putin and Biden.
Yeah.
So he's like, I really don't like NATO, and then Biden would say, So Putin, so you really don't like NATO? Is that what you're saying? Yes, I'm saying that. I just said that. It's like, okay, Biden, what do you want to say? Hey, Putin, I'm really afraid that when you build up the army on the Ukrainian border, it seems like you're going to go to war. And then Putin would say, so you feel really afraid that I might be actually trying to start a war when I build up my troops? And Biden says, yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
Oh my God.
So like they should let me solve all the world's. Every time there's a conflict, I'm like, okay,
we can do a TikTok with that.
Xi Jinping and Biden, because they're fighting over Taiwan.
Yeah.
Or when there's problems in Hong Kong, okay, let's talk about this. Between churches, between the Roman Catholic Church and Protestants. Here, let's just sit at the table.
De-escalating immediately.
Exactly. That's my new role in life. No more preaching the gospel. I'm just gonna
go into politics.
Yes, I should write a book. Ed Thomas Way. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
And if you want us to do more podcasts about premarital counseling and how to prepare, we've had several episodes. We do this so often. We talk about relationships quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Because you guys want that.
Yeah, for some reason you guys like it when we talk about relationships. We want to talk about hate.
Wow.
I just thought I'd throw that in. Watch, this episode's going to go up. It's like, oh my gosh, 1 million people have listened to that just because I said, we want to talk about hate. They're like, he's going to say it, he's going to say it, he's going to say it, he's going to talk about hate. Oh!
Wow. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a nice time wherever you're at in the world.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Linh and Edward Thomas, and we hope to see you again.